Good morning, everyone. Just me, Jeff Donnelly, JP Donnelly, JP Donnelly 8. Okay, as some of you may be aware, some of you may not, I hold degrees in psychology and criminal justice. I'm a graduate of the Massachusetts Department of Youth Services Training Academy, Massachusetts DYS. I'm National Incident Management Certified, NIMS. Okay, and I'm the author of Raw Emotion and Political Repression, which is the journal that I wrote and published, the book detailing the corruption I faced when I was a 25-year-old running for the United States Congress back in the day. Okay, so what are we talking about today? Well, let's see. Turtleboy. So, some people are upset. Some people are screaming howls of joy that he's been excluded from covering, well, not covering, but excluded from being in the courtroom during certain aspects of the Karen Read trial. Yes, he just went through all of the hoops to get a press pass. Okay. The state's not saying he can't cover the case. All they're saying is that when certain witnesses are given testimony, that he's not allowed to be in the courtroom, which makes sense. Because remember something. We are looking at a guy who's actually facing the rest of his life in prison for witness intimidation. I think it's like 18 counts or something, 18 felonies of witness intimidation in relation to this case. In relation to 18 witnesses or 15 witnesses or 10 witnesses in this Karen Read trial. So if you look at it, he's facing the rest of his life in prison right now. He's a defendant in a criminal case. Well, like 18 of them or something. Felonies. For intimidating witnesses in the Karen Read case. Yet he wants to sit in the courtroom when these same witnesses that he's intimidated or alleged to have intimidated and is facing charges for intimidating take the stand and testify. Come on. How does this not make sense? You're facing charges of witness intimidation on these, on this dozen people. And you really think that you're going to be allowed to sit there while they're on the stand testifying? That's not how the First Amendment works. You're not allowed to be facing charges for intimidating these people and then sitting in the same room while they're giving testimony on another case. Your case, yes. The Karen Read case? No. Because your presence there is going to be intimidating them as well. Because you claim, oh, this guy is 6 foot, 250 pounds and solid and he could rip me apart and blah, blah. It's dude, man, shut the fuck up, all right? Really, shut the fuck up. Because if this person was legally allowed to do that, he would have, obviously. For you fucking with all their families. If it wasn't a criminal offense to physically put you 6 feet under, they would have. But that's not legal. And these people are law-abiding citizens. So they can't physically hurt you. Hell, any of the females they've been intimidating can physically hurt you. Kate Peters, you're afraid of hurting you. Who you claim that you're afraid of that she's going to physically hurt you. Okay? All you are is an internet tough guy, an internet bully. Plain and simple. You bully people on the internet And then you act like you're a tough guy on the internet. But in person, you run from people, you call 911 on people, and you're not about that life, plain and simple. I've known a lot of people like you in the past, and plain and simple, like, all you've ever done is gone after the low-hanging fruit, plain and simple. It's sad. Like, the one who I think might approach you one day at your house is actually Michael Giannetti, plain and simple. Because that guy's kind of crazy, and that guy is about the life. And I could picture him getting violent. But these police officers and these pillars of the community you're going after now, that's just sad. And it's all because of Karen Reed, this situation where she has a Lexus SUV, you buy a Lexus SUV. You've never had a fucking dime to your name before the Karen Reed case, before people start donating to the Karen Reed situation, so people start buying the free Karen Reed merchandise from your store and everything like that. Like, this case is your bread and butter. This case is where you're making all the money you've ever made in your whole life from. And it's sad. Because that's the only reason why you're doing this, is for the money. You know, for the clout, for the fame, for the grift. Like, you've caused so much damage in this case, and these aren't even your typical people that you go after. The people who are on welfare, the people who are, like, you know, doing drugs, like, those people are the ones that you've gone after and made your name off of being just a Worcester Howard Stern, all right? Basically, that's a Worcester Howard Stern. You know, man, come on. You're a former history teacher who got fired. You got bought out to leave because of the content you were creating. You know, you were not like a good role model for the students, plain and simple. That's why after you got bought out to leave one school district, you never become a teacher in another. You know, like, you could have easily been a teacher doing the blogs that you were doing. You know, but you didn't get another teaching job because you couldn't, plain and simple. Your mother, who was on a school district, and your mother, who was known, couldn't even get you another job after you were asked to leave. You know, come on. You know, through this case, we've actually found out that you are the type of person that you blog about. You've been on Adderall for over 20 years. Do you need it? No. Look, you're tweaked out of your mind. Plain and simple. But, you know, so you've been on Adderall for like your whole adult life. You drink when you're on Adderall, which you're not supposed to. You smoke pot, and you smoked pot all your life. Like, if people don't remember correctly, when you were teaching, smoking pot was actually against the law. Like, so while you were a teacher, you were doing Adderall, you were doing Addies, you were smoking pot, and you were writing blogs like belittling most of the community that you actually were teaching in. You know, the people that you're writing about were probably related to some of your students or some of the people in the school that you were actually teaching in. Like honestly, come on, man. And now you're dumbfounded of why you're not allowed to cover. Well, you're allowed to cover, but not allowed to be in the courtroom while people who are victims in these felonies that you're facing are taking the stand in the Karen Reed case. Come on. It makes sense, doesn't it? Like, and you saying, oh, this other judge said I could do this. This other judge said I could be there. This other judge said I could report on this. It's like, look, Judge Canoni's not saying that you can't report on this. The district attorney's office is not saying you can't report on this. They're just saying you cannot be in the room while they're giving testimony because they're victims of yours right now. They're alleged victims in these felonies that you're facing. And honestly, I think for your own self, it's best that you not be in that room, because you have a tendency to fuck around. You know what they say? Fuck around, find out. Well, you are likely to make a comment, commentary, chuckle, noise, outburst, something when one of them is on the stand. You are likely to do something while one of them is on the stand, some form of outburst that could cause a mistrial in this case. And personally, I do believe that Karen Reid is guilty, for what I talked about in a different video. But if you cause a mistrial here, Karen Reid, everything will just go back to the beginning. But Karen Reid, well, she's going to have to pay a lot more money for more attorneys to represent her in a second trial. Do you understand that? She might stay out of jail, like during the pendency of another trial. But with the contact that you've had with her leading up to this trial, where you're facing witness intimidation charges, there's also a very good chance that leading up to another trial, they might actually throw witness intimidation against her as well and hold her on that right there, which would be more money for more lawyers. Just honestly, what's best for you, honestly, is not even to be in the courtroom during the trial. Because just being in the courtroom during the trial doesn't really have a purpose if you get down to it. Because everyone is seeing the trial through court TV. I'm watching it through court TV every day. Well, I'm listening to it every night when I work, all right? So when I'm at work, I'm listening to the trial. Glancing down, seeing what's going on every now and then. But yeah, I'm actually watching the trial as it happens, which honestly, that's where you're best at. You're best at giving commentary. So you might as well just sit at home during the Karen Reid trial, or even sit outside with people around you and film and give commentary on how the trial's going. Do your snide little comments, real life, real time. Do all of it that way, because that's where you actually shine. You're an entertaining individual. You are entertaining, plain and simple. But there's really no reason for you to be in the courtroom during this trial. It doesn't help you. It really doesn't. What would help you and help your views is actually being outside, live streaming commentary to court TV's live stream. That's what you'd probably be the best at, and get the most views at, and make the most money doing, than sitting in a courtroom all day just listening. Because why? Like, who gives a shit? Like, if you're in the courtroom or not. Yes, you have your press pass, but really, who cares? Grant? Okay, he's sitting in there. Okay. He's tweeting, live tweeting. Okay, that's his thing. That's what he wants to do. But where you shine is your commentary. Even though I may not agree with all of it, but that's where you shine, is your commentary, which is entertaining. But hey, Judge Canete, whatever, Bev or whatever, she was smart to excuse you from those. And your attorney, making up his lame excuse, why wasn't I contacted, blah, 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 blah. Well, Lolly, the one you make fun of and says he's not even capable or competent, he smacked your lawyer around a little bit, saying, hey, I didn't have to contact him. I just had to contact the Associated Press, as is required by the rules. Your lawyer didn't even realize that he knew that all that Lolly had to do is contact the Associated Press, which kind of shows you how your lawyer is. That he's not even competent enough to understand that he didn't even have to be contacted. Plus, he's your attorney on criminal offenses, which this is not a criminal offense. So this isn't in relation to that, which he made abundantly clear. Plain and simple. But hey, Turtleboy, worry more about the charges that you're facing, because if Karen Reed is found not guilty, you're still facing them. If she's found guilty, you're still facing those charges. No matter what happens in this case, you're still facing those witness intimidation charges, those felonies, and the rest of your life behind bars. And your best bet is to try to play nice right now in order for them to hopefully give you a great plea bargain. Because if you go to jail on this, they're not going to put you in medical. They're going to put you in general population or protective custody. If you go in protective custody, you're not going to want that. You're not going to want to be alone all day and all night, and you're not going to be given an iPad to play with, right? It's not going to be good for you, plain and simple. But anyways, once again, Jeff Donnelly, JP Donnelly 8, and yeah, like, just, there's no reason for you to intimidate your witnesses, your victims again. Okay, bye.